Hello, it's me again. 3/4 dead ex-convict Mr. O'Neill. Yeah, I was just thinking as I'm sitting here getting on with one of my pictures, my paintings that I'm doing. It's a bit of dark parts of life. It's actually called Ferris! You know, that's how it's to be presented. Ferris! That's what it's called. It's not Ferris, it's Ferris! Like the Banks shouted through his childhood, tormenting the man that made him turn into the person that he become and into the fine gentleman that he is now, to go through what he did and come out the other side to have a life and to try and include others into that life, to have a life themselves from difficult beginnings. You know, this is a picture. That's just the undercoat, the underbelly of it. You know, it's absolutely, you know, that's the background, as I call it. You know, it's not even started. It takes a lot for me to get my pictures to a state that I begin to work on them fully. That's the background. That's the stuff. A lot of that will be in the background. You'll probably not see a lot of it once I get to work on the top of it with the oils and everything and build it up. It's just the insanity of an abstract mind that I've got through my insanity and normality and living near two parallel selves in a system that oppressed me and tormented me for 30 years. And I was just thinking of like Whitemore, Phil Sarton and Larton and all them places, dangerous prisons. Dispersal prisons are called Catteray prisons. Well-known sort of individuals are. And like my friend Vince Donnelly, he was one of the IRA lads, and he was getting chased from a special branch in London, and they got him cornered down into the tube station. So he's running, I remember him telling me this story, he's running under the tube station and into the tunnels, and he's running into the tunnels, and the special branch are chasing him, and armed, and then they had the gun battle, and then Vince turned the gun on himself, and he's shooting himself 6 times. He shot himself. You not take me alive. Bang, bang, bang. Go on, you fucking English bastards. He said he shouted as the shots rang out, and his life to diminish, he thought, as he shot himself time and time again. But unfortunately, he didn't die. And they patched him up, of course, and barred him or tortured him some, got a statement or two, get him to court, you know, Ditmar court or whatever, kangaroo court, and off we went into so many life sentences, you know what I mean. And I met him. It was one day in Whitemore, and he came into my cell, and I was feeling very sad. And my Uncle Joe had died, Joe Herring, up in Scotland. He's an Irishman, you know, he married my father's sister Mary. But Joe, he's a fine man, he was. May he rest in peace, along with my father and the uncles and all who's passed before. May you all know that the blood is in us all, and the kin of our history and our struggle lives on, and it always will, when nations are repressed and stolen by tyranny. Anyway, getting back to Vince, you know, I was feeling sad this day because my Uncle Joe, you know, got the news that he died, and I remember looking at a picture I had of him, and Vince, and he's looking at it, and he's looking at me very strangely. He's like, and I'm telling him about Uncle Joe, you see, so he's like, and off he went, and then about a few weeks later he come back, and he told me, you know, he'd be checking up on me, and my Uncle Joe was in fact a friend of his, and a very good friend apparently, because he used to, you know, do things like financial things like collecting money for the cause back in the day, as a lot of people did, you know, it's your own people. And he came in and he told me that. I was like, what the fuck? And he said, well, these things, you know, we have to do. We can't just take people's words or whatever. So anyway, through that I got on to the acceptance of the soup run, as he used to make your soup, and you would get your bowl of soup, you know, your Irish soup. And it was fucking lovely, especially in the winter's day. I get a nice bowl of soup from the boys. And, you know, I met a lot of the lads who was IRA lads, and UVA lads, UDA lads. I met all sorts of other terrorists from around the world. I met Fozzie from the Iranian embassy. The one who survived, he actually turned out to be a friend of mine over the years. Very, very, very nice man he was indeed. And he told us a story about the Iranian embassy and everything also. And then you meet these sort of individuals and you listen and you hear what their life has been about and what they've actually believed in and fought for and what they're in prison for. Sometimes it makes my plight seem very small, compared to them. You can see my hands filthy, look. You know what I mean? My hands are absolutely filthy because they're full of chalk and all that just now. I'm in between doing my work, my paintings. I love my pictures, my images, getting myself out onto canvas and letting people interpret what is there to see. Yeah, and as I say, getting back to the lads in that area. The reason I mention it is because it's been mentioned to me that in reports and all sorts of other different things about the connections and the things regarding the Irish. And I'm from a Republican family. My people are Republicans from back home across the water. We were born and bred Republicans. Armour, cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man will stand behind the men behind the wire through the little streets of Belfast in the early dawn. British soldiers came a marching. Yeah, and I get carried away in the foggy dew and all that. So I get looked after from the IRA lads, and they really looked after me and kept me alive, some of them, over the years, because they come to my aid, especially in full Saturn when we had an altercation with some of the London gangsters, and ended up one of my cousins actually stabbed one of them up, and there was all sorts of madness from it, and he got blinded and my cell got burnt out. Everything happened, all sorts of difficult days, times. People, don't care. They're doing 30, 40, 50 years upwards on top of lives, double lives, treble lives, and they don't care. You walk down the landing and you just don't know what you're passing, what you're walking into or coming from. Every cell you pass is another misery and a tale of woe within. You don't know what's getting plotted behind that door, but you can rest assured it's something. It always is something. So everyone is up to things. And I used to sell drugs. That's what I done most of the sentence. I sold drugs and dabbled in the narcotic side also, starting out in cannabis and then going through whatever the dominant currency is, because everything becomes a currency in prison, right down to whatever it is, if it's wanted and if it's got a price, and someone will pay that price. So I was doing all the cannabis and what me, Eddie Butler, Huey Docherty, and not Huey Docherty, yeah, Huey Docherty it was, yeah, Huey's beard, his barley wine, the wine, the barley wine was something that blow your head off, my God. And of course Joe O'Connell, but Joe never took nothing to do with any of the drugs and all. He was against it because my job was to deal with the London gangsters and trade up all the heroin into puff and get the puff back to the boys, because that was more socially accepted to be dealing with. They would not, did not, or could not deal in the dark side of narcotics when the heroin come into the prison. So dafties like me done that. Not dafties, but we took that upon ourselves, and that was a dominant currency, and the black market of prison is the heartbeat of the prison. So I was involved deeply in that world of narcotics in prison, getting it in, selling it, and through time indulging into it deeply at times, very, very deeply. But I was told one thing from my friend Fred: regardless of what I have to do in prison, I'll do it to survive, but don't bring it out with you. And I wouldn't, and I didn't, because only a foolish man would. What you have to do behind the wire, you do, and you do it to get by, to survive that day or that hour, depending. It can go right down to that minute. That's how precarious it can be, and frightening, Because you've got to remember, it's a very terrifying place, and a lot of people don't talk about that side of it, the fear that you have at all times. And no man can look me in the eye and say they didn't walk the landings with trepidation and fear in their steps, and the unpredictability of the madman springing and pouncing on a perceived slight that he feels that you've disrespected him on or something. It's like you walk down the landing and you see a lad and you can see him, say out of 10 times, you see him 9 times out of that 10 times, and you say, "Alright, yeah, you alright?" He's like, "Alright," and off he goes. And that 10th time that he'll walk by you and he'll say, "Alright, you might not have known him, I heard him, I seen him, you're distracted." Anyway, he looks at you, you've not noticed him, so he's off, and he goes back to his cell. And he's like, "I just been there fucking in hill when I just passed him, and he blanked me." I says, "You alright, big man?" He's like, and they walked by me, he didn't even look at me. That fucking liberty. And someone in the cell, "Well, he done what?" "He went, what? And next minute you're up there fucking blah, 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 blah. You're out the door, you're away. "Oh, you know, yeah, can you think I'm a fucking daft?" And it's off and it's rolling about, claret everywhere, bells ringing, mufti, silver boots, stomping the ground, and you get poured into a cell down the dungeons or in the hospital, and getting patched up if you make it. And then you sit and you think, "Oh, what the fuck was that about?" How does everyone with a rational thought think? You think, "What the fuck?" But that's unpredictability. The whole 9 times you say hello, the 10th time you walk by, distracted or not, you never said hello, and that person's went back to the cell, to his wee camp, as they're called, of Umbridge. You know what I mean? And I've seen that a few times happen. No, I've had people. Now, some of the things I can't talk about, and I would never talk about. You know what I mean? And what happens behind the wire, but nonetheless, it happens. And you keep the things to your darkness of your thoughts till you die. And only God and His judgment will judge such deeds. That I'm survivor, but sadly just now I'm very, very ill. It's very difficult this morning. I was fighting for breath, 5 o'clock this morning, waking up fighting, gasping for breath. It's very difficult, very difficult. I just struggle on and I'm getting on, you know, but I can't move much with the, you know, anyway, my lungs are 75% gone. I came out with that, you know, because of the healthcare in prison. It never looked after me. You get no healthcare in prison, NHS. No, there's no such thing. Fuck's sake, you're not allowed to be ill. You're not allowed to have remedies that it could take away symptoms.